Hey, it's Miguel, KJ5CKG with Full Boar Outdoors. When I head into the field, I take two types of antennas with me. A quick deploy vertical whip and a more versatile end-fed half-wave antenna. And today, I want to talk about which one I end up choosing depending on my scenario and why each one of them earns a spot in my pack. So stick around and let's get into it. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each. The vertical can take up just a little more room in the pack when it's packed up. However, when it's deployed, it can have a significantly smaller footprint than a 40-meter end-fed half-wave antenna does. Now, I know there's a plethora of small compact verticals out there that perform excellent, but the one that I choose to carry is going to be the Gable GRA 7350 Tango. And the reason I like it so much is because in the pack, it's very small and compact. And even once it's all set up, it keeps that small footprint, and the performance on it is excellent. I've never had any issues with it, and it's never let me down. The only thing that did kind of give me some heartache one time was the original connection for the coax that it came with. It was built great. I probably abused it a lot further than Gable ever intended, but to remedy it, I ended up swapping over to this. I got it on eBay. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll try to find it and I'll link it in the description. For my end-fed half-wave, I've been using a Reliance bug-out antenna. It's super compact, very small. Everything fits in here that I need. I've got the balun. I've got the 60 some odd foot of radiating wire, and I also have my throw line that I use, which is just a really fine bank line. There's really no need to go heavy duty with this. All it's doing is holding up the wire, and it really doesn't have any pressure on it. One of the biggest reasons that I love having the end-fed half-wave with me, whether it be this one or the AR6K, is because it's just, the whole thing is so compact. Everything fits in here. I've got the balun, I've got the wire, I've got the throw line, I have the, what else do I have in here? I have the power cable for my radio. I've got a couple of connectors in here that I might need. Everything just fits in this small little package. And this small little package fits inside of this bag, which this bag contains everything that I need to operate. It contains the hand mic, I got the coax, I've got my battery, I've got my radio, and I actually have a mini computer in here. So if I wanted to, this right here would be all that I need to take with me. But because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, that's why we carry the backup end-fed half-wave. I have been in scenarios where I cannot put this up, and I've tried to remedy that by carrying this extendable pole, which is just shy of 20 feet, but it's definitely high enough to get the job done. Let's talk about why I might choose one over the other. Both radios are great. Don't have any reservations about using one over the other. However, in this area that I'm in right now, with all the trees, it might be kind of hard to stretch a 60 some odd foot piece of wire all the way across here. Ideally, you know, everybody knows, I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you want to get that end of the end-fed half-wave at least 20 foot off the ground. Most of the time I don't. I'm within about 12 to 15 foot, unless I'm trying to reach something closer, and then I'll probably have it about 8 foot off the ground to 6 foot off the ground on both ends, sometimes even lower. But sometimes it can be a little difficult. What am I forgetting? Oh, there we go. Sometimes it can be a little difficult in getting that much available space. So in a scenario like that, I would end up choosing the end-fed or the vertical whip. Say I'm on the trail and I'm just checking in. I'm in an area with no signal, and I can't just send a text message saying, hey, I've made it to whatever predetermined checkpoint that I've established with my wife or my friends, and I want to make sure that it's the middle of the day and I just want to let people know where I'm at so that they know I'm making progress on the trail. More than likely, I would end up choosing the vertical just because it's a lot faster to deploy and tear down. It can be a little finicky because you do have to make it resident with the slider on it. However, I use it so often that I can pretty much eyeball it and get it dialed in pretty quick, so it's not really an issue with me. But I can tear it out, set it up, take out my computer, send my WinLink message, and tear it all back down and be gone on the trail again within less than 10 minutes. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes if I'm pushing it, which isn't bad if I decide I want to take a break to get something to eat or get a drink of water. Now let's say we're setting up camp for the night, or I'm going to be in a spot for a couple of days. Then even in an area like this, I would try to find a way to string up the end-fed half wave, because it's so versatile. Once I get it strung up, I can work 40 through 10. I don't have to finagle with any kind of adjustments. Especially with WinLink, when I'm trying to find a gateway that I'm going to be able to reach and talk to very easily. Sounds like we can hear some thunder out there. It's just easier for me to have an end-fed half wave strung up. That way I can set the I can set WinLink to automatically scan a certain set of frequencies, and I don't have to worry about going over there and retuning everything. I'm going to show you a little trick for getting these S-bit type tablets lit. They can be a little difficult sometimes, even with a lighter, but generally using them with a ferro rod is almost impossible in this state. So what you want to do is you want to take your knife and you want to scrape some of the material off the top, so where it's kind of fluffy. And once we got a little pile, we'll hit that with our ferro rod. All right, we're lit. And we'll just let that catch. We're still going. Yep, we are. All right, now she's taking off. When we're all said and done, we want to make sure that we put our ferro rod and our knife back, because one of the worst things that happens is you lose one of your tools, your essential tools, because you're careless with it. All right, while this boils up and the coffee's being made, I think we'll go ahead and set up our vertical antenna here. That way we can get prepared to get on the air. So one of the first things we need to do is get our legs out. There we go. Now this little tripod actually does have 4 legs. It has a center spike as well as 3 supporting legs. That way you can set it up on a hard ground, or if you have soft ground like I do today, I am only going to use, well, I guess we're done a little early. I'm only going to use the spike, and I'm going to spike this straight into the ground. Oop, spill over. All right, we're going to put our tripod together here, or our stake, I guess, because We don't actually have the 3 legs, so it's not a tripod today. And I carry, I think this is 25 foot of coax, I believe. I don't really remember. I don't really remember for sure, but I believe it's about 25 foot of coax. So we'll connect our coax. Actually, I need the other end. So we'll go ahead and stick this in the ground first. There we go, nice and stable. Extend our whip. Okay, I think we'll shoot for 20 meters. So, if I can find it, there we go. So right in the neighborhood there, we should be good. Next, we need to deploy our radials. Which I love this silicone wire, because no matter how bad I bunch it up, it is super easy to untangle. There's one. There's 2. There's 3. And we have 4. And I'm not super concerned about them being perfectly even from each other, or even completely spaced out for that matter, or stretched out, I'm sorry. I have found that this antenna is very forgiving. Okay. We'll plug in our coax before we plug in our battery. Then we'll get our battery power cable. Sounds like we got something big flying overhead. We'll then plug our battery up, make sure that it's powered on. We'll go ahead and use our hand mic. And I don't ever use an antenna tuner. What I end up doing is I just use the SWR meter in the radio. I turn it down as low as I can. Well, I say low as I can. This one will go below 1 watt, but I like to keep it at about 1 watt. And we'll put an FM key it. see what our SWR is. Right now we're at a 3-2, so we'll make an adjustment. And this antenna can be very finicky. So just a little bit, no, wrong direction. Just a little bit of movement can make a big difference. Back at 3-2. Two. All right, we are at a 1-2. That's good enough for me. We'll swap over to SSB. We'll see if we can pick up the POTA station. Let's see if we can get this guy. Kilo Juliet 5, Charlie Kilo Golf.
Kilo Juliet Niner, Charlie Kilo Golf, is that correct?
Negative. Kilo Juliet 5, Kilo Juliet 5, Charlie Kilo Golf.
Kilo Juliet 5, Charlie Kilo Golf. You're a 3x3 in the Park US 4630.
Roger, the 3x3. I've got you a 3x5 into North Louisiana.
Louisiana, appreciate it. Have a good day. 7-3.
You too, 7-3.
So Lima 7, Delta Uniform Golf Park's on the air. Cure that.
All right, y'all seen how quick and easy that was, and that's the reason that it earns a spot in my pack. Are there better performing antennas out there? Absolutely, but for its size and its reliability, I don't think it can be beat. If I was doing a parks on the air, or just doing an activity where I've got everything in my truck and I'm pulling up to a spot, yeah, I might choose something else like a Wolf River Coils or a DX Commander or something of that sort. But the thing is normally I'm pretty tapped for room because I'm either fitting everything into a pack like this, or I'm using a larger pack. But the thing is I've got more in it, so space is at a premium, and that's why I'm looking for something that's small that can perform. And the this little whip meets that criteria. I'd love to know what y'all are using and what kind of scenarios you're using it in. Are you backpacking into your location that you're setting up? Are you doing a park bench POTA? Or are you bringing out, the entire ham shack? I'm always interested in new stuff. This isn't the one and only way to do things. I understand that, and I'm always learning, and I'm always looking for people's input, seeing what they do. And if I find something out there that I think can be a better use case for me, I'm all about willing to trying new things. So that's my setup. If you enjoyed today's video, if you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to follow along and join me on this journey, and leave a comment down below, let me know what kind of setup you take out into the field, whether it's ultra portable or if you're taking the whole ham shack out into the park. Either way, I'd love to hear about it. And I hope to catch you on the next one. 7-3.